And thanks so much for joining us. We do want to give you a live look at the top of the hour here, starting off at 65. Those southbound lanes still pretty congested near the Scottsburg exit, but we are at least seeing a partial reopening as crews get back to normal from what was a very somber morning. To start off your Tuesday, Indiana State Police say 2 semi-drivers died following a crash involving 3 trucks overnight. It happened right before midnight on I-65 south there at mile marker 38. That's close to Scottsburg, with traffic down to, as you saw, just about 1 lane on the southbound side right now. You can see it in this photo sent by ISP's Sergeant Carrie Holes, who told us a semi was stopped in the backup caused by construction overnight when another slowed down behind it, but a third semi could not slow down in time and rear-ended that second semi. Both caught fire and the 2 drivers were killed.
There was actually another driver, a third driver, and the sleeper of the third truck who was flown to University Hospital in Louisville with severe burns. So it's just a tragic crash all the way around.
Sergeant Hall said the driver of the first semi was not hurt. We'll keep you updated.
For a homeless person who has no place to go, sleeping in public is kind of like breathing in public.
This is a serious policy problem. And it's a policy problem because the solution, of course, is to build shelter, to provide shelter for those who are otherwise harmless.
U.S. Supreme Court justices are determining whether being homeless and sleeping outside is a punishable offense. We will not get a ruling from them until at least June, but that did not stop activists in Louisville from gathering outside the federal courthouse in protest Monday. The issue is whether governments can ticket, fine, or possibly jail homeless people who sleep outside in public areas. That rally, named Housing, Not Handcuffs, was one of many around the country as the Supreme Court heard oral arguments on that case. Here in Louisville, it's illegal to camp on public property for more than 12 hours without a permit. Any longer, and you could face civil penalties, but no criminal charges. Yesterday, activists set up about 25 tents outside the federal building here, each representing 24 people who go unhoused every night in Louisville. According to the Coalition for the Homeless, in 2021, more than 10,600 people experienced homelessness in our city. District 4 Councilman Ja'Cory Arthur called for a couple of ordinances that would mandate dollars for the Affordable Housing Trust Fund to create a right of shelter and place a moratorium on camp clearings.
Our people who are unhoused, sleeping in the streets, are worth fighting for now. So how do we fight?
Morgan McGarvey also spoke about 2 bills he's supporting on the federal level addressing homelessness and affordable housing. The case stems from the city of Grants Pass, Oregon, which has banned anyone who sleeps in public from using a blanket, a pillow, or even a cardboard box. Well, police say a suspect in a triple shooting in J-Town last week turned himself in this morning. Investigators believe 19-year-old Sebastian Malone shot 3 people at an apartment complex on Taylorsville Road. 1 was killed and the other 2 are expected to survive. In their initial investigation, police said a verbal dispute between Malone and the 3 acquaintances escalated into an altercation that led to him firing shots at the victims. Malone will appear in court tomorrow morning. A Louisville father will spend at least 15 years behind bars for sexually exploiting 2 children. 30-year-old Anthony Michael Bentley pleaded guilty to 4 counts of exploitation and 1 count of making false statements to the FBI. Court documents say he coerced a 12-year-old to send him explicit photos on Facebook and did so on another occasion with a 17-year-old. Police said Bentley used the alias Chris Jones. He's been sentenced to 17 years in federal prison. Metro Police also searching for the person responsible for a shooting in Bashford Manor. Police found a man with gunshot wounds around 9:30 last night in the common area of an apartment complex there off Newburgh Road near Bashford Manor Lane. He was taken to the hospital, expected to survive. Anyone with information is asked to call that anonymous tip line at 574 LMPD. Well, police have yet to identify the body pulled from the Ohio River yesterday. They said a tugboat operator notified them of the discovery southwest of downtown Louisville shortly after 3:30. Investigators are waiting for the results of an autopsy to determine the person's identity and cause of death. 2 separate shootings involving Metro Police officers have been found justified by the Jefferson County Commonwealth's Attorney's Office. The first happened in August on Frankfort Avenue. That's when police responded to reports of a man randomly firing a gun near the railroad tracks. across the road. Police said 47-year-old James Monty shot at them, at which time Officer Roberto Cedino returned fire, killing Monty. Well, the second case was from September 7th at 40th and Kentucky Streets, where police said Officer Brandon Haley was conducting a traffic stop when gunfire from a nearby home rang out. Officer Haley was seriously wounded, and another officer, Colin Bellato, returned fire. LMPD's Professional Standards Unit is investigating both cases. In what the school board is calling the largest increase it's seen in over a decade, employees with the Oldham County school system are getting a pay raise this summer. While it's referred to as the state's wealthiest county, we're wondering, how does it stack up against JCPS? Our Alex Dieterer and photojournalist Elijah McKenzie spoke to school employees about the bump in their pay.
Applause filled the room after a unanimous vote to increase Oldham County teachers' salaries. The school board approved a $2 raise to hourly staff and a 7% raise to salaried staff. At the front of the room is Jeanette Hill, who is a bus driver for the county. In her decade of driving school buses, Hill was face to face with a situation she never imagined this year. A student on her bus choked on a bottle cap and couldn't breathe. Hill did what she was trained to do.
And I immediately went back and said, "Where's the kid?" And just started doing the abdominal thrusts. And I did 22 before it started to dislodge.
Saving her student's life.
This is something that we know that we have to do. Be prepared, and safety first. Finish the task that's before you.
Hill was one of a few bus drivers sitting at the front of the board meeting, waiting to see if their pay was going to be raised.
I've been on the board going on 16 years. This is the biggest raise we've ever gave.
And while this may be the biggest raise the board has seen in years, some of the faculty we spoke with say this is a step in the right direction, but they hope to see more in the future.
We get it. You're not going to just say, well, overnight we're going to get to the same pay as, say, JCPS. That's not going to happen.
Before the raise, bus drivers in Oldham County, like Blaine Anderson, make around $38,000 a year. JCPS bus drivers make $55,000. A starting teacher at Oldham makes $39,000. Compared to $47,000 at JCPS. The raises are going into effect July 1st. In Oldham County, Alex Dieterer with photojournalist Elijah McKenzie, WHAS11 on your side.
Board Chair Suzanne Hundley says Oldham County is now offering free tuition to people who live outside of the county but teach or work there, and aim to approve paid maternity leave next month. Both are in hopes of increasing retention.